And we are live with round 3 of the European Challengers Cup featuring Losing Road facing off against WinkyFace here. I am so once again joined by Shadow Boy, and I believe Losing Road is a very familiar name to both of us at this point from last year, actually.
Yeah, Losing Road, a staple, I guess you could say, as far as teams go. And, let's not count out WinkyFace. I mean, again, this is just this is the second week. A lot of teams coming together to try and show that they just got a very unlucky side of the bracket, or maybe that they could do better. I mean, WinkyFace has 6 points, and Losing Road has what is it now?
I believe
they actually have 12. Yeah, they have 12. Losing Road has 12.
Okay, yeah, they do. So, yeah, this has been an interesting matchup here. This is going to be one of the major tournament ones, especially as we are in round 3. These are the points where the points start to get incredibly massive when it comes to the differences here. As well, if you can make it past this point, if you get to the semifinals and do well, you're looking at a possible third-place finish. So, all in all, there's a lot on the line in this match.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So bans come out pretty common. Susano, Raijin, as well as Athena, and Nemesis. Actually, that one's a little uncommon. Makes sense, but it's a little uncommon. Yeah, so Kuang up for grabs. Geb up for grabs, as we saw White Wolves pick up last time. Cabrakan highlighted.
It looks like
I don't feel like he's a priority.
Yeah, it's going to be a first pick.
I don't feel like he's priority, but I assume that Losing Road has something up their sleeves with that pick.
Yeah, they have to have something up the face of that pick here, as we will see now. Kuang being picked up for WinkyFace as their first lock-in here. No surprise there. Massive jungler in this current patch here. And Apollo, the immediate follow-up for them as their AD carry here. And that's a lot of pressure coming out for WinkyFace.
So Apollo and Kuang, again, we said Kuang is available, and maybe that's exactly why Losing Road picked up the Cabrakan. Just having that AoE disrupt might be a big factor in dealing with the Kuang. They recognize his potentials and know how to deal with him. So I always like these kind of strategies where one team will elect to do a maybe unconventional pick to deal with a very common pick, and because the common pick is so just looked at as powerful, all being does no wrong, has no weakness, a lot of people don't really pay attention to the subtle weaknesses or the subtle difficulties that god might deal with against certain matchups.
And Cabrakan is an incredible disruptor as well. But now moving on to the next round of picks for Losing Road, as we'll see Jing and a very, very solid pickup here in the form of the Big Baby. It's going to be a pretty difficult thing for WinkyFace to deal with now, as that's a lot of pressure to try to peel past.
All right, with Sobek locked in, that's going to be WinkyFace setting themselves up quite nicely with a lot of disrupt of their own. Sobek, very good at that, and they've kind of set up a bit of a pick team comp themselves. I mean, Sobek already by himself just signifies the idea of picking off one person, but Kuang definitely one of the kings of picking off targets.
And it's going to be able to funnel a lot of kills into him. Not to mention, they're bringing in a little bit of anti-healing as well to deal with the possible Vamana going off. It's going to be a nice way to slow him down a little bit once he goes into that Big Baby form. So a very solid pickup for this third round here, and could work as that flex solo lane or support as well. And it's going to have to make Losing Road guess out here as they go for the next round of bans here. Scylla and Thor banned up by WinkyFace. Odin, the current ban up for Losing Road. And finally, a Guan Yu as their last ban.
I find it so funny that WinkyFace just banned out the combo that we thought was going to be so destructive on the side of Team Albatross last game. That's really funny to me. But again, that's the power that combo can bring. It's almost synonymous to Odin Zeus, but it just in a little bit of a different way. It's a little bit smaller, but more instant on top of just having high burst damage. First pick going over to WinkyFace after the second round of bans. It's going to be some Wukong trying to deal with the Vamana. Not sure how that matchup typically goes, but I would give it a little bit over to Vamana, especially since his Umbrella Ring got a bit of a buff, so clear a little bit easier and allows for him to harass the Sun Wukong a bit earlier.
Vamana takes off. He does tend to just completely soar away here, so I definitely want to go ahead and give this one over to Vamana here. Impossibility is now jungler looks like it's going to be locked in as an Awilix, and a quick Agni pickup for the mid lane here. Losing Road putting together a very solid composition right now.
They're really focused on trying to just isolate certain targets and then just blow them up. They have a lot of ability to do so. I wouldn't say that this is a hey, we're just going to catch you out and do big AoE damage to you. I think this is more so we're just going to run at you very angrily, especially Vamana. He does a very fantastic job at running at people angrily. WinkyFace choosing their last pickup of Soul, character that you usually don't hear being picked up very last out of all the picks and bans. So a bit of a surprise there, but she's going to go into the middle lane with Apollo going into the AD carry role, barring any kind of weird shenanigans from WinkyFace.
I don't think we're going to see any kind of shenanigans here when it comes from WinkyFace. So it's a good assumption that Soul will be their mid laner here. And these team comps fold out. It looks like it's going to be a pick versus pick on both sides here. And those games are always really curious to watch here, Shadow Boy. So what's going to separate these two team comps and what's going to give one the big advantage? It looks like they're both trying to go for the same style.
I think that honestly, the front line is going to make the big difference here. If Wukong or if Sobek gets extremely far behind, there's just not enough peel, not enough security in a lot of the other characters. I mean, Kuang is a strong character. Don't get me wrong, especially once he gets to like that plus 30-minute marker. It's almost a GG point there. But the big issue he's going to run into is a lot of times he's going to be depending on his teammates to do a lot of the work for him to set up those, hey, I'm going to, teleport over to you and just pick you up into the air and possibly come down on someone else and start blowing them up as well. He doesn't do very well setting up his own kills early on into the game. Meanwhile, on the other side, Losing Road has a lot of tools to just bully the enemy team, especially Cabrakan, who also runs at people very angrily and stuns them. So there's a lot of danger potential on the side of WinkyFace of losing the game early on. And I think it's going to come down to how well the front line can transition into the mid to late game.
All right. Well, with that said, which team are you going to go ahead and give it to here?
Losing Road.
All right.
Two giant people running at you angrily is just a funny image to me. I mean, just imagine being in a dark alley and Cabrakan and Vamana just walk towards you very aggressively. It's not a place you want to be.
That's a bit of a nightmare situation to imagine, any kind of situation. And
he can throw up a wall to just block you in. Oh, no.
So you're trying to back up, and then all of a sudden, wall behind you. Yeah, that's a bit more nightmarish than I even imagined. So we're going to go ahead and go into the game here as Losing Road and WinkyFace are about to get into the action here. We'll be right back with plenty of that. Don't forget, this is EU Challenger Cup brought to you by Tier Monster. We'll see you guys in a few minutes. And we are live with the action here featuring Losing Road facing off against WinkyFace. There was something that was corrected. Losing Road is actually in the blue and WinkyFace sitting in red. So Shadow Boy, still holding on to your vote for the two terrifying angry running men for WinkyFace?
Yeah.
All right. So Shadow Boy's still holding to WinkyFace here, and I got to agree with him here. It's a very, very terrifying team comp for Losing Road to deal with. But if they have that perfect execution, they can pull it off. But perfect is a little bit too much to hope for in these situations most of the time.
Well, now, keep in mind, we saw out of a team not too long ago. White Wolves did it to Team Albatross just a second ago. So execution is key, and it looks like WinkyFace recognized that and are going to go for the aggressive play. But the perfect board right at the top of the mid camps allows for them to recognize that Vamana and Awilix want to try and go for the aggressive play. Only a speed steal going the way of WinkyFace here, while Losing Road actually might not even lose it.
Yeah, they're going to get it right there. No, Unarity did actually secure it. So WinkyFace going to get absolutely nothing from that except for wasted time.
Yeah, so at best they got a small minion out of the speed camp. Awilix has to share some XP over in the solo lane and has to sit there a long time. This could be another story of a team crippled by an early game mistake or play.
This is another big case of why you really, really need those early game wards here. That enabled Losing Road to respond in a very reasonable time frame to WinkyFace making an aggressive invader there. That's exactly how they were able to deal with a situation like that. They came in, got their camp, didn't bother with the fight, they wanted the farm, and they got away from that just in time. As WinkyFace having pretty difficult to deal with composition for these early fights here. So Losing Road, I feel, made the right play there.
And on top of that, I love the execution by the members of Losing Road after they went ahead and got their own speed buff. They went as a group of Kuang and Wukong over to the Fire Giant Creeps, and then as the three-man group cleared off the mid camp as well. So that's both mid camps and Fire Giant Creeps all going to Losing Road. That's a huge gold swing in their favor, almost 500
and it shows
before the game. Before the game has even gotten rolling.
Yeah, and that's an incredibly difficult thing to see as WinkyFace right there, to see a small mistake lead to something like that. But as we near these top levels here, we're going to see things like that. These tiny, tiny mistakes that seem almost inconsequential are going to end up being these massive things here, as Losing Road able to actually steal away from WinkyFace as well. Now Busy Apple going to be caught a little bit here, but he's able to blink away as he is out Kuang right now. A little bit low on mana, but not going to bother him too much right here, as mostly he's going to be looking for that extra farm here. And Losing Road starting to actually run off this early game.
That's something a little frustrating about playing Agni in the middle lane, is that you just don't have anything pre-level 5 that's just that terrifying. I mean, yeah, you have Flame Wave, you have Path of Flame, and Noxious Fumes, but really, how much of that honestly brings the impact of, say, like a Spirit Ball or Wing Gust, like anything that Isis would bring, or even something even smaller, like a Whirlpool from Poseidon? Agni just doesn't have the same impact this early on.
And it's really unfortunate, but it's definitely just going to, it's just one of the things that's enabling Losing Road just run a bit hard of this map here. It looks like they actually might start this gank. They're gonna go for the camp first, but they're in position to start a fight if they want to. Instead, Losing Road just gonna opt for the farm here. It's a lot more reliable, a lot better, and has given them a nearly 1,000 gold differential already. At 800 right now.
I respect the decision. Vamana just turned level 5. It would have been a wasted effort, and they probably wouldn't have gotten killed. If anything, they probably would have lost a lot more than they gained from investing onto a Vamana who is level 5. Recognize where you can make plays and act on those. Don't go for just, well, maybe if they misplay.
So much money on the map right now. There's better places to be if you're not absolutely 100% sure you can get the kill early game, especially at this level of play. And a very solid decision from them, enables them to be in position for these camp clears right here. And now WinkyFace going to fall further behind.
So both Apollo and the Jing Wei coming back in the lane with the Golden Bow. Jing Wei obviously getting into the lane a little bit quicker. In fact, she's got time to go ahead and clear out her piggies and then make her way over into the lane. So slight advantage there just because Jing Wei is, of course, Jing Wei. Meanwhile, over the middle lane, mid camps is going to be spawning soon. Kuang is in the nearby area, so a 3-on-3 fight possibly going to pop up here. Support jungle and mid on both sides. And I don't think that WinkyFace wants to take this fight. They're going to back off.
It's a bit too risky here. There's 3 strong in position right here. It's a very, very difficult team to fight this early on here. And it looks like it's kind of like you're saying here, Losing Road will take off in this early game right here. And whoever wins the early game might run away with this for your prediction here. And now WinkyFace gonna have to find some way to crack through this shell that Losing Road is building around them. But fortunately, they're just not in position at the right time. So they're going to forfeit another mid camp here. Losing Road just completely on time, in position, and as a squad for everything they need, it seems.
Well, the big issue I'm seeing right now is that WinkyFace is not looking for any kind of opportunity to try and swing the fight back in their favor. They're sacrificing at every interval. I mean, we went from a 500 goal deficit now to a 1,000 goal deficit. This game is just slowly going more and more in favor of Losing Road just because it doesn't look like WinkyFace wants to even try to participate in any kind of earlier aggression. They do have the Cabrakan. You have to look for some kind of opportunity. Otherwise, you're going to be in a lot of trouble as the game proceeds.
It seems like Losing Road has instilled this fear into WinkyFace right now that's just causing them to like not even want to fight them here. And Losing Road is taking full advantage of that right here. We're going to see them attempt to get a bit of poke on the Ferricrick in the mid lane, but he's not going to be too phased by right here. And there's nothing WinkyFace can really take on the map. So even with that poke, they can't really get anything out of it.
Cabrakan going for some kind of aggression onto the Sobek. A little hard to do so because he is Sobek. Uses the charging prey to get out into safety, and now it looks like it's just going to be a wave push by WinkyFace in the middle lane and not even a Gold Fury attempt. They do have strong ward coverage over on the left side of the map, which is very good. They might elect to go for some kind of Gold Fury play here soon, which would swing the game back in their favor, but they are hesitating a bit too long.
Yeah, they had been spotted by Hispanify right there, most likely. And Cabrakan gonna pop the ultimate, but hits absolutely nothing right there. And WinkyFace in a lot of danger right now. They're gonna have to back away, or else risk losing more than just a gold tier right there. Losing Road not really showing too much interest in it right now, as they want to go for the sure things, and so they're just not even gonna try to fight for this right now. As WinkyFace looking for opportunities sometimes, but just not really pulling the trigger at all.
You see, this is the thing that I like. Losing Road is showing the mentality of a veteranship team. We recognize our team's composition. We recognize where we excel and where we won't excel, and we're going to play to that advantage. They're disengaging at the appropriate times, just going for smart farm, and then they aggress where they can.
And this isn't really much of a surprise coming out of one of the potential top 4 teams from last year's Challengers Cup. So it's not really surprising them doing so well about this. They've really got some veteran leadership here. And they're just showing off in spades right now as they're able to just take WinkyFace down piece by piece so far. But WinkyFace aren't quite out of this yet, but they have to create some kind of opportunity here, as if they don't, they're going to fall further and further out of this game.
So now the vision is in favor of Losing Road in terms of the Gold Fury, and they're hovering around. Dual lane is susceptible to ganks depending on where the Losing Road walks here. There's only one ward in the nearby area, and they are going to be able to maintain their ward for just a little bit longer. But now ward vision on the Gold Fury side of the map completely in favor of Losing Road.
Yeah, and they're at the point where they can play very confidently, wait around for picks, and wait a little bit longer for WinkyFace here. They've got all the timers down completely. WinkyFace mostly going to have to play reactionary around these respawns as well. They will finally get one in the mid camp, so it's looking a bit up for WinkyFace right now, but even then, Losing Road looks very, very confident right now, as they do have complete control of all the timers.
I think I'm a little bit more inclined to believe that they still haven't actually stopped the bleeding. I mean, what went from 500 to 1,000 has went to 1,500, but this might be the kill opportunity that WinkyFace is looking for. There's the pull onto Sobek. There's a lot of investment onto him. Airstrike's gonna miss, and they're still not able to get the Sobek on the backside. They're not getting anything done. Kuang is coming out. He uses the ultimate to try and prevent his own death. First blood going over to WinkyFace as they are able to pick off Kuang. Now over in
they're
the
way
jungle
too deep.
side, they can't get the Jing just yet. However, it's still a fight going on.
Yeah, WinkyFace was way too deep there, and now Losing Road responding in full force. They're responding quite quickly with 2 kills, only losing Busy Apple, getting 1 on Apollo and 1 on their soul. They may have lost the jungler, but they gained 2 kills on some fairly hefty carries right there. Losing Road coming out ahead at the end of that fight, actually.
I think WinkyFace actually got a bit of a
slightly more
swing.
from first blood.
Yeah, I think they might have gotten just a bit, not much, just a bit more of a swing for that first
The
blood, and they
aftermath
got the assist.
back towards Losing Road. Looking at the gold chart, the aftermath is swinging back towards Losing Road, though. So they get a nice dip in their favor, but at the end of the day, it's still trending back towards Losing Road once again.
Yeah, I think what made the big difference there is probably how many people got an assist out of the other 2 kills. So possibly that being a big factor. And then again, there's also the fact that Losing Road's still pretty far ahead. So even had it went in favor of WinkyFace, there's still a little bit to overcome there.
It's quite a mountain at this point here, as Losing Road seem to be running away with this one here. WinkyFace did get a good pick, though, but unfortunately, this couldn't end those targets they needed to. They managed to actually finish off Sobek earlier on. They could have gotten out after that kill, gotten away with first blood, and now Hoa gonna get caught out here, but just Jack going to take on Busy Apple right there. And Busy Apple went way too deep there. But here comes Sun Wukong. Looks like he might be able to take somebody down here, knocked up, but he slams on down with the cudgel for a quick kill on the field Hoek right there. And Losing Road respond 1 for 1. Might look for something, but it's a way too risky decision to go for the tower dive right here, and that's gonna back off.
This is one of the benefits of being Sun Wukong, is that you can just rotate so much faster than Vamana sometimes. I mean, it's really difficult to keep up with bird form Sun Wukong, especially when he's just able to get right back to lane quicker than you're even able to get there. He can clear this wave back and feel comfortable returning to lane just at the same rate he came there the first time.
And now we're going to see Losing Road start up Gold Fury here. There's no vision for WinkyFace here, so they've got no idea what's happening. You might hear something as Just Jack passes by, but by then it will be too late. Losing Road has already secured the first gold tree of the game, and their gold lead has now built up quite a bit, excuse me. As we will see the Jing trying to chase here way too deep. Gonna dive into the tower, trying to find the kill, but Fusify right around the corner. Hispanify incredibly low, but alive, and that's all that matters here. As the rest of the team showing up. Snotty, though, going to get ripped down by Busy Apple here. Could find a double if he wants to risk it. Closing on in. Will go for the execute. A double kill for Busy Apple. And now they want to keep the pressure up here. Instead, they're just going to back away.
Blink. Blink for that kill.
I don't think it was even worth attempting right there. It was way too risky. He had to know Losing Road was right on his heels. He had to know it wouldn't have been worth it even if he got the kill right there. That was just an odd play in general.
And now you ended up with a double kill going over to Kuang. This is again the story of hyper carry getting some heavy damage now because of a big play. Now, whether or not it ends up the same story as Scylla from last game, don't know. I doubt it. Losing Road has been playing pretty on point from beginning to even right now. So I'm speculating that this is the down spiral for WinkyFace.
And even then, Losing Road also had the only member on Losing Road's team that had been failing a little bit was Busy Apple. He'd been falling a bit short, getting caught out trying to go for these fights here. Now that he's got those 2 kills, he's got a lot of extra money in his bank now. And now WinkyFace has to actually consider him a massive threat to deal with here. So WinkyFace did just lose a pretty major battle there, especially considering who the kills went on to.
And let's take a look over the Soul Lane, because this is where it all kind of started. Losing out on that speed buff steal, as well as losing out on all the mid camps and the Fire Giant creeps. Wukong has been doing a fantastic job of keeping his leverage over this Vamana, over 1,000 gold ahead of his opponent. And of course, there is the Tower and Gold Fury to factor in, but that only accounts for about half of that gold lead.
Yeah, and all I really want to just say, where is his power coming from here? As Unarity almost gets caught out there, but he's Sun Wukong. He can bird away from this one. So from here, Shadow Boy, we've seen a lot of teams have difficulty closing out games here, but it looks like Losing Road probably won't have this difficulty. What do you think they should do from here to start closing out the game? As it looks like they're starting to build their lead up solidly.
Just look for objectives. Vamana is going to be focused on trying to go over into the Soul Lane and take this tower at every opportunity, just because a lot of times Soul Laners get caught up in the idea, well, he took my tower, I got to take his tower. So if they can force a fight over in one of the lanes and some of Kong get the sneaky teleport in, especially if Vamana doesn't have his teleport.
Here we go. Yeah, we're going to see a fight break out. Sorry, Shadow Boy, but just Jack going to get obliterated to kick things off. Knocked out by the Kuang, will be deadpan. He's trapped inside his own guy's wall. A quick rain of death from Snotty will drop a lot of damage, but it's all going back to nothing there. Busy Apple sitting nice and healthy at half health once again. No numbers, gonna get obliterated. Sun Wukong chasing him. He's still alive thanks to healing. Fusify slowing out 2 targets. Snotty going to get ripped down by Ferricrick. A double kill off the back of 1 quick stellar burst, as no numbers will fall as well. That's 4 down for WinkyFace, and nobody to fall for Losing Road. They're guaranteed at least 1 tower here.
The really unfortunate thing is that even though Vamana got the teleport in quicker than Sun Wukong, he wasn't able to actually make a big impact. In fact, he saved his ultimate for so long that he ended up using it just as an escape maneuver rather than an aggression maneuver. And really, that fight started out with just Awilix getting bullied out. I mean, she ended up dying really early on in that fight.
And unfortunately, the wall from Cabrakan as well also just ended up being more of a detriment to WinkyFace there. A very unfortunate case there is they wanted to try to get the fight going, but the rest of the losing squad was the rest of the Losing Road squad wasn't too far behind. They managed to get in there and absolutely rain death and destruction. And speaking of that, I have to say Snotty hit a fairly massive ultimate on all 5 members of Losing Road, but it didn't really do enough for there as their health bar simply bounced back up. The meditation brought plenty of health back to Losing Road, and Kuang, Busy Apple, went from nearly dead to half health in a matter of seconds, and that was rather impressive.
I'm really curious to what Sobek's going to do with the second the second relic spot. He is level 12, so he does have the ability to get one, but he's holding out. They recognize that they already have some Wukong with meditation. He has a little bit of health started up with the talisman, so he's going to get a little bit more health and try to get a bit more of a healing effect out of that meditation. But Sobek, I really want to see a sprint come out of him, just to deal with some of the slows or anything that come out of Cabrakan or maybe even Vamana.
I'll give him a nice way of just walking away from that death ball if WinkyFace ever do manage to get something going. But at this rate, it doesn't look like they will be able to. Fusify tossing no numbers back into a destruction zone. He will be forced to ulti, but it might not be enough. From the backlines, we will see death being ripped from above by Snotty right there. But feels Sobek, man, now alone in the dark, being taken down slowly but surely by Losing Road. Busy Apple with a quick execute. 2 kills for nothing. Once again, 3 for nothing going over the way of Losing Road. And now a surrender vote kicks off. Gonna go on through. Losing Road managed to snowball into a massive victory at 15 minutes in, as WinkyFace will fall in round 3.
Oh man, WinkyFace just gave up way too much, way too early. Going for that invade was not a bad strategy. I don't think that was a bad idea. I think it was a really good idea because it allowed for them to possibly swing the game completely in their favor from the get-go, giving the speed buff over to Awilix as opposed to letting the Kuang have it. If you set back Kuang, it's a similar effect as setting back Thor. The other factor is that if you can even set back some Wukong, you have another opportunity to just really bully that lane. I think what really hurt them, though, is that if you're going to give that much effort, you have to at least donate the 50 gold to make sure that you know where your opponent is and if they're at speed. Otherwise, you end up in a situation like they were, where blue was already completed by the time that they decided to even start the speed buff, and it just kind of went downhill from there. I mean, Awilix never really was able to get off the ground. The same can be said for Jing as well as Cabrakan. That dual lane was a little awkward, but all in all, I just think that there was a strategy there that they just couldn't get going.
They seem to be incredibly afraid after losing road took down one of the strategies. Maybe their main strategy hinged on that invade being successful and they just couldn't adapt, or maybe losing road were actually able to get in their heads at that point. I'm not quite sure which one it was here, and there's a lot of other myriad of options here, but losing road held together very strong, looked like a veteran team for sure here, and WinkyFace just fell short in their faces right here. Unfortunate, but that's the way it goes sometimes. As we will move on to round 4, the semifinals already, I believe. No, not quite yet. We're moving towards the quarterfinals right now, so this should be quite a good one now. Shadow Boy, any final thoughts on what you already said?
I mean, WinkyFace, like the strategy, keep going for it, just iron it out, and I think you'll be good to go.
Yeah,
honestly, I really do like the strategy.
It was a really good idea right there, but unfortunately, you got to have something else ready to go if it falls short. But that's always for next week. We'll be right back with more action, though. Do stay tuned. This is the EU Challenger Cup brought to you by Tier Monster and hi-rez Studios. We'll see you guys in a few minutes.